All right, welcome back. Episode number 42 or 43, I believe, the Photo Booth Magazine. And it's been a few weeks, right, Dave Stevenson?
It's been a couple of weeks. Yes, we have been very busy. October was a crazy month for both of us.
Yeah,
We do have lives other than the show. I mean, we do pretty much live the show,
yeah,
but we do have companies, working companies, and we had a crap ton of events to
yeah.
get
A
done.
ton of events, kids, full time
Yeah,
job, um, philanthropy events, all kinds of stuff. But we're back and we've got a very special guest, someone from our area, a rising star in the DJ and photo booth business, Mr. David Gordon. Welcome, Dave.
Hello, hi everybody. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Dave, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and um, what you do.
Yeah, sure. I started DJing. I started doing parties at 15 years old. That was about 7 years ago. I'm 22 now. I started a DJ and photo booth essentially company. Started with the Sweet 16s and the birthday parties, and now I am doing a bunch of weddings. So, DJ and photo booth. I have my own company. I just had a second DJ start and a five photo booth staff. So, it's all me. I'm still in school. I'm in my fifth year of Drexel University right now. So, this episode is important to me because I'm trying to scale my DJ and photo booth company before I graduate college and, am supposed to start my real career. So, this is why I'm looking at avenues for paid advertising to really increase those leads, and I have some experience to share. That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
So
and
what is the real career that you're going to be moving into?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Cybersecurity. I am a cybersecurity master's student right now, so that's the field I'll be in. I know you're in IT, Dave, so we'll be in a similar realm there.
Yep,
yeah,
that's a good field to be in.
very good
I
field.
love it. I actually do enjoy it, and that is another passion of mine. That at the moment I'm just spending school doing. In the future, that's going to be my daily, everyday job. We'll see.
Yeah, so I mean, I've known you since COVID, right? So there was, you're from our area. You're actually closer to me than you are to Dave Stevenson because you're literally in the same town as I. Um, and this is a beautiful conversation because you got started really early when a lot of people in the industry don't get started as early. Like you started like when you're 15, getting into the entertainment industry, which is awesome, and you just turned 21. So, and you are leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of people that I've ever seen, and actually probably some people that are still in this business today. Some people that have been doing it for like 30 years, you're like leaps and bounds ahead. So you're well cemented and doing a fantastic job. I got to tell you that.
Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Art.
And it's tough because there's also people out there that are going to say, well, why don't you make this your full-time job? And you probably easily could, right, make this your full-time job if you wanted to, but you've got, you're on your road to finishing a degree in a field that you're not going to have a problem finding a job if you ever needed one because the tech industry is just full of opportunity. So you've kind of got two golden eggs sitting there. In one hand, you got a really good DJ photo booth and entertainment business. And the other one, you've got your tech career, which is fantastic. So either way, you're going to be successful. I just know it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do still have my relatively traditional parents there on the side saying, "Oh, we don't want you to DJ forever," and blah blah blah. So I am pursuing it. Not that I'm being forced to at all, but the way that I've kind of set it up, if I can step aside from the DJing while still having people go out and do photo booths on the weekends and have a career, it, that is the ultimate end goal.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. So, the original reason that you're here is to talk about paid advertising. And, what was it like? Maybe like 3 months ago, we were texting back and forth. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was just about to go to bed. You're like, "Hey Art, what do you know about TikTok?" And I said, "Not a whole lot, but I do know that it's a different type of a channel for advertising other than like Google." And we'll talk about Google in a little bit, but I want to talk about your story, which is TikTok, and that you wanted to do this TikTok ad program, and I couldn't give you any advice. So I've never really dove too much into it. I just know that it's not really a direct advertising; it's more of a discovery type of channel. So I'm going to open up the floor, and this is really important. You have an experience that probably not a lot of people have gone through. So tell us about why you decided to do TikTok advertising, what that journey was like, and your thoughts on the results of it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys. I will try to make this story, my experience working with a TikTok ad agency. I'll try to make it short, but there's a lot of detail and a lot of things that I learned throughout the process. Um, Starting off with our conversation, Art, because I know that you are an advertising guru. You're the Google guy, and I know a lot of other DJs and photo booth companies and whatnot are doing Google ads. They're doing Facebook ads, and that's kind of the extent. Maybe Instagram, if that counts in with
Yeah.
Facebook. But I wanted to be different. I wanted to put my ads on a platform that did not have competition per se with other photo booth companies and other DJs trying to get that top spot like on Google or something like that. So I was scrolling TikTok one day as a just regular TikTok user, and I got an ad for a company. I'm going to keep this company's name secret, and I'll get to why, I guess, a little bit later. But there's a company that is basically an ad agency. They had a video that said, if you are a service-based business, we want to help you run your ads. We are going to create the content for you, and we are going to have this perfect plan and perfect targeting for you to get leads and convert them into clients, get quality leads and convert them into clients. I was intrigued, but I didn't do anything with it until I got a second ad from them. You see, you get a first ad and you watch it. Now they know that you're interested. So they got a second ad, and the second ad really got me because it said something along the lines of, "You're watching this video because we know that you have a service-based business, and we know that we can help you." And I decided to give it a try. It's these young guys who showed me results. We had a call with them. They showed me results of their other service-based businesses. They had roofers and other like repairmen on there that they were helping out and getting leads for, HVAC guys. I wanted to give it a try, and this is what they charged me. Initiation fee of $2,000. And $2,000, yeah, yes. $2,000 was supposed to onboard me with them. No contract, by the way, just the first $2,000. And this is what really sold me, was that they were going to make the content for me. Okay, they said that they had some actors, some actresses. They were going to write scripts and really figure out how to make enticing content that is going to book me events. So I signed on with them for $2,000. By the way, that $2,000 is not actual ad spend. So I still had to pay TikTok to put the ads in front of people. Okay.
Yeah.
They made some content for me, but what that really meant was they asked me to make a Dropbox folder of all footage from my gigs. And I will be honest with you, they sent that footage off probably on Fiverr or a similar website
Yeah.
overseas to get edited very, very cheaply, to $5, $20, $50 at the most, we'll say. And what I got back was some little reels, some montages with some music over top, and one of them had a voiceover. We started running the ads. They said they set everything up perfectly. And basically, if we want to jump to the end of me spending another $700 on the actual ad spend through TikTok, I ended up with 3 leads, 2 of which were basically complete junk, one of which seemed better, and I actually was able to get in contact with the client, but then for some reason or another, they just never ended up having a party. So unfortunately, it just was not a good experience. I decided that I wanted to be that pioneer and give it a try, and see what happens, because there was no one else doing it on TikTok. And I thought, as I said before, there might be that audience there that I could capture. One other thing to note about what they were offering, and that was the whole setting up of the TikTok ads account, and specifically the targeting and who would see those videos. I had access to my TikTok ads management account. I looked into it all after they did the work. They targeted women aged 25 to 40 in Philadelphia. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. I don't know if there was any more they could add, but I could have guessed Philadelphia, and then women, middle-aged women, who are going to book DJs and photo booths. Aside from that story, one quick note about TikTok that I learned is that when you're targeting on TikTok, they only have very specific target markets that you can target. So for example, I am 40 minutes outside of Philadelphia, and that's where my let's say higher end paying clients are, in the suburbs, not straight up center city Philly.
Yep.
You can't target that on TikTok. You have to target Philadelphia, and your next best option is like Pittsburgh or New Jersey, or New York. There's nothing else more granular than just Philly. And that was also one of the things that I did not like about TikTok ads. So I guess if you guys have any questions, I will answer them about the experience, and then I have like a little discussion point after.
So what's your TikTok name if somebody wants to look up your company on TikTok and see?
That's a great point. On the side of all of this stuff, I have been posting TikToks. I DJ, so I post my mixes, I post my grand introductions. I really do keep on top of TikTok. I've got like 60 solid videos on there. Unfortunately, I have not gone viral on TikTok. I don't have any. My most viewed video is maybe like 5,000
video.
Well,
that only
5,000.
takes one video to happen. So
I know.
5,000 is pretty good. 5,000 is really good. Like I tested TikTok a little bit in terms of posting stuff, and it seems like immediately everything gets to about 900 and then stops. It's like they're going to show it to 900 people, and then that's it. But you have 5,000. But what's interesting about the one that hit the 5,000, it isn't any like your standard picture of you doing your service. It's more of a shock value kind of video. And that's what TikTok is. TikTok is just shock value, as far as I'm concerned. That's what people want to look at.
The video that I had that got those 5,000 views, that was a DJ fail. Literally. All my other videos are great mixes, me doing my thing. It's so wonderful, great for sales. And the one that does well is a fail.
Right. And so that tells you something, like if the most popular one is you failing, that doesn't really promote you as a good, to potential clients, right? So why why spend money? And looking at your case study, first of all, you got an agency that I hate to say it fleeced the whole situation, and that's their job is to fleece people because they're taking your $2,000 and paying 15 to 20 bucks for somebody to edit the videos, slap it in the system, pull two buttons, and then sit and watch it and do nothing. Right? That's essentially what happened, and that happens a lot. Whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google Ads, whether it's TikTok, there are agencies out there that do not know what they're doing, but they know how to count money. They certainly know how to count money.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so somebody just commented, look at Nick Spinelli for good content ideas. And I think, Dave, you kind of did, though. There's some videos that you put up
Yes.
that are very uh, much in the realm of what Nick Spinelli did, but Nick Spinelli is the only one who's done it. You get Scooter who does it. There's a lot of people out there that do that. They
Yeah.
do the performance that are just kick ass and like interesting mixes, which you do.
I took a lot of. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Nick Spinelli. I really
Yeah,
do like him. I watch his podcast every week and whatnot. I don't want to say he got lucky on TikTok because his mixes
it's
and
good.
everything is very, very good.
Hmm.
He's great. I do think that it has sometimes more to do with your guests. He shows his guests a lot, and he shows them dancing, and he shows just like fun little things that aren't just him standing there and DJing or just listening to the mix. And I think that helps him a lot. So I got a 360 camera where I film my audience and I hope that they do something fun and exciting. I had a guy jump over my cold spark machine while it was on. Um,
I
and
saw
I
that.
filmed that. And I was hoping that was, oh, maybe that's the video that'll do well.
No,
No, no.
no.
So,
So there's a couple
but
lessons.
No, it's going to be the drunk lady that trips over her feet and falls into your system.
Right?
That's the
yeah,
one that's going to go
yeah,
viral.
Or the one that asked for Sambuca. Can I order a Sambuca? That video. That's what people are interested in on TikTok. But I
yeah,
take away a
yeah,
couple things from this. And being in the advertising industry, hopefully some people can get a lesson from what you just went through. And let me help disseminate that for people. Number one, if you're going to hire an agency, you got to vet them a little bit further. A couple red flags that went off, and I do this with Google. So I go to Google headquarters and I meet with these people, and they try to sell me on things too. And I call them out because I've been doing this for such a long time. I've seen a million sales pitches. And so they showed you these case studies, right? They showed you a roofer, they showed you a handyman, but they didn't show you a case study of a photo boother or a DJ company, did they? Right?
no, absolutely
Complete
not.
different. There's an umbrella that says service, but under that umbrella of service are little tiny niches of service. And you're in an entertainment industry that's completely different than a roofer, a plumber, an electrician. So that number one right there, I would have said, and this is for anybody watching, if somebody starts showing you case studies, said, we have the results of these types of businesses. Well, show me a case study on my type of business. And if they can't produce that, that's a red flag, and you may not want to jump into the scenario with them. Don't jump into bed with them. So that's one thing. Um, if I had access to my account while they were performing it, and you saw some red flags, such as that they only picked Philadelphia and females between 25 and 40, that would have been a red flag where I would have contacted them and said, "Hey, I don't like these settings. What else are you doing? Pause the campaign." Like you had the ability, you should have had the ability to at some point look at that and have them not spend any more money until they gave you answers to why they were doing what they were doing. We got a
Yeah,
question here, which is totally unrelated to advertising. Are you ready? This is Facebook and everything is squirrel. So it says, "Hey Dave, what 360 camera are you using? I have the Insta 360 and I don't like the quality of night recording."
yeah. I also have the Insta 360 X3. It's the newest one. Yeah, unfortunately, in a very low light scenario, it does not do super well. It's a fantastic camera during the day and for action shots and whatever other people are using it for. I'm still using it because if I don't have a videographer at my event, or if I don't have an assistant or a photo booth attendant who can come over and film for me, I can have that set up. I have a direct audio into my DJ system, so it collects my mix and it records the audience and it records me. And no matter what quality it is, I mean, it's not unusable quality. So I use it and I make do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a better, like, it was $500. Sure, we can pay more, maybe, but at the moment, I think it's the best one.
Yeah, you know what? I take that back. That is an advertising question because video is crucial to advertising your business. And 2,700 divided by 5, right? You could have bought 5 of those cameras, right?
I know.
They're all
I know. Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
You took one for the team. I've done that too. I mean, I've spent some money on some things that, for research purposes. But guess what? This is a tax write-off for you. It's advertising dollars.
Yeah, yeah. I do have a slightly better ending to the story that doesn't leave such a bad taste in my mouth with this company. Of course, I decided to go down the route of, hey, I tried to be as nice as possible, but I said, hey guys, I am ready to write my review on my experience with your company. It hasn't been a great one so far. I will give you the option to give me a refund. I guess in exchange for not writing the review, or at least that was implied. And they did. They gave me a $1,000 refund, a 50% refund on their service. I took it. I don't think that they gave me the other $1,000 in actual value during my time working with them. But my ending to this story was to come onto this show and say, all right, I have $1,000 refund. I'm not going to take that and put it into my savings account. I want to put that $1,000 back into advertising. Where should I do it? What should I do?
Okay. Dave, before I jump in, do you have any insights into what Dave should do with his $1,000?
Well, I was thinking strippers and Atlantic City, but that's just how I roll.
There it is.
And it's a good thing my wife doesn't watch these, or
It's
be
a
homeless.
great investment, really.
I'll be homeless tomorrow, and coming to live in your basement, Art. I mean, you're reinvesting back into your business is always a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Upgrading your equipment, and putting it where you find that you're going to get your best bang for that money. Advertising is always good, but sometimes the simplest of advertising can sometimes be your best payoff.
Yeah,
You can spend tons of money on stuff and not get any results, like kind of what you found, but doing some basic research out there. I mean, there are inexpensive ways to get your name out there and grow your brand.
Yeah, there are.
Thank you. Yeah.
Other than going to Atlantic City and gambling and hanging with strippers. But you're young, Dave, so I mean, you can handle that.
His girlfriend. Right? You don't you?
Yes, I do. I do.
Probably watching this. So shh. No, $1,000. There, yeah, I agree with Dave. There's like you can reinvest in your business other than spending money on advertising dollars.
Well, I'm glad you didn't agree with me with the strippers and the Atlantic City gambling. So
that's just a waste of money.
You clarified that, Art.
Although I did pretty well gambling in Atlantic City the last time I was there.
That's true.
For a different day. But no, there, $1,000 can go so many different ways. So I've been doing some private consulting over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 months, and I stopped. I was building Google Ads campaigns for people, and I do that very well. Meaning that like I've been doing Google Ads like forever. Like I've been working doing stuff with Google since 1998. That's how long I've been doing this stuff. Um, and what I'm seeing is that our markets are getting saturated right now. There are a ton of Alibaba photo booths out there. There are a lot of people that are jumping in for a quick buck. It is insane. Just like if you looked at Google Maps 4 years ago and looked up the word photo booth rental, you might see a dot here or there. But if you do it in most major market now, it looks like a pimple infestation. They're just showing up everywhere. And they're lowballing the market out. And a lot of people says, well, yeah, you got to be better than the lowballers. It's like, yeah, well, we are, but we're still being affected by it, no matter what shape or form you look at it. And what does that mean is you got to be better than those companies in a certain few different ways. Um, and it's only you and your knowledge of your market that's going to tell you how you are better than those other companies in other ways. It could be your customer service. It could be the numerous types of services or experiences that you offer. Just the concierge way you handle things. But again, that's up to you to figure out. But the truth of the matter is, no matter what market you're in, it's starting to get flooded. So their advertising dollars are also tougher to make an ROI on because you have more people in the markets that are jumping on, also on TikTok ads yet, but definitely Facebook. More so Google ads than I've seen than ever. So I've actually been turning away clients on Google ads because I need a couple more, just a few more moments to analyze the situation. Because these people I would bring in, I set up the perfect Google ads campaign, but they're not biting. And the landing pages, the websites are really good, but people are just not biting as much. And I think it's because there's so many options out there in our industry, in the DJ industry as well. Um, so I almost think that right now is probably one of those moments where people could probably save money on paid advertising, and like Dave said, improve your business in other ways, whether it be
Hmm.
more training. Training is so important, whether it's for yourself or for your employees, whether it's better equipment or taking that $1,000 and adding on a different service that maybe could turn into another revenue stream for you, something like that. I don't
Hmm.
think there is, but I'm really scared of paid advertising right now.
Well, the other
Or,
thing you
or
can
can
look
you?
at, the other thing that I would say is also your website.
Yeah,
You
you can
know,
update your
you can
website.
always, and because your website is you, it's the extension of you. It's
Mhm.
what your customers are going to see and get that impression of what you do and what you can offer them. Without them talking to you, you need to be able to convey from your website, look, this is what I do, this is what we can do for you, and then draw them in to get them to
Yeah.
be able to talk to them and interact with them.
Um,
So that's one of the things that I've always kind of focused on was my website,
yeah.
and
There's
and trying, not using, like the free Wix or something like that, invest in, you know
well,
a website.
you can use
And
Wix, and you can use Squarespace, and you can use these other builders. It just can't be like not with your domain name.
well, that's kind of what I meant. Not
Yeah.
using the free one where, register a domain name and, put some effort into the pages. Don't just use well, I'm going to insert a picture here and there kind of thing.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that's something. And Dave, you were about this. Dave G, you were about to say something.
Yeah. I just wanted you to possibly debunk this myth for me, or maybe not.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten quotes myself and haven't looked into it myself, but I'm told that the Google ads are just ridiculously expensive as it is, just in general. Is that true?
that
Can
is
you
true.
give an estimate,
Yeah, I can.
any kind of estimate?
Absolutely. So I've been running photo booth rental company campaigns from Florida to Pennsylvania to New Jersey to Oregon to California to Colorado, across the whole country. And it's expensive. And we're talking like so you can get clicks, right? You can get a ton of clicks for cheap. But what are the value of those clicks if they're junk clicks, right? If they're just um, you know, just irrelevant search queries or irrelevant keywords, right? Or they're from people who've already visited 10 sites and not really price shopping the 349 package, which I was going to show you. Look, there's a guy in our area that's doing Google Ads, and their package is 349 for 2 hours with prints. It's like, dude, how are you making money? Because I know how much it costs to Google
Yeah.
Ads, right? And your Google Ads to be, and this is at the top, is going to be anywhere between $5 to like $15 per click. That's me going, click, you just paid 15 bucks.
Mhm.
Now I'm on your website,
Yeah.
right? So that's what you're paying on average per click. That's for a good click. There are going to be some people out there watching this like, oh, I get them for 50 cents. I get them for $1. I get them for $1.25. Look at where those clicks are coming from, location wise. Look at where those clicks are coming from what people are actually typing in. So people don't look under the hood of the Google Ads campaigns and they think, well, I don't want to pay $8 or $9 or $10 a click. Well, if you don't, then you probably shouldn't be advertising on Google. Um, I'd say you could probably get away with four or $5 clicks, depending upon what market you're in, for the good keywords. So
But you'll never know how many clicks it's going to take to get you that booking,
yeah,
right?
well, that's the thing, and it's a misconception of I'm going to run Google Ads, therefore I'm going to get lots of leads, therefore I'm going to get lots of bookings. No, it doesn't work that way. Google Ads is there to there to bring the horse to the water, right? That's all they do. They bring the horse to the water. You are the water, and now it's up to the horse to decide whether they want to drink your water or not. That comes down to your
Right.
website, how your website's presented, like how well it looks. Does your website have the right information? Are you competitive enough in your market, pricing wise, to what they're looking for? And how hard is it to find your information? So I've seen some websites that I took on as clients, and I'm like, where's your phone number? How do they contact you? They're like, well, I want people to fill out a form, and the link to the form is way at the bottom of the page. So what you're telling me is you want them to come to your website and you want them to kind of search really hard, like it's an Easter egg hunt for your form, and you don't want to take phone calls at all. Yeah, like, well, then they're not going to contact you, right? So you have to think
Yeah.
about making it easy for them to contact you, and then when they contact you, that's your job to sell them, not Google Ads' job to sell them, not Google Ads' job to make them fill out a form, make a phone call. That's all on you. So I think that's one of the things that has to be taken into consideration doing any kind of advertising.
Hmm.
So, Art, somebody mentioned you. It says at the moment, you really recommend to invest money in another way of advertising, or don't invest a lot of money.
I think it's situational. You have to have somebody take a look at your market, take a look at your website, take a look at where you are financially, take a look at the competition that you're up against. And there's also different times of years, right? Or different times of the year. There is seasonality with what we do. My advice on that question is to do that analysis first before just throwing money at something. Kind of
Right.
like opening up a business. You should do a business plan first before you just start buying a bunch of junk and poking a stick at it and say, do money, right? It doesn't work that way. Um,
Listen, that's how I got started in all this. No, I'm just
but
kidding.
what's how most of us got started. Um,
True.
but from thus who have learned that lesson, trying to tell newbies or people in like mid level, whatever, do that first. So back to the question. Um, I recommend putting your money towards where you're weakest, and your strength is going to start from your website. It's going to start from the referrals that you get. It's going to start from the elbow grease that you put in, getting your Google Business profile ranked higher. And again, referrals are huge. Then after those are covered, and you know you're solid on that core business or part of the business that's hard to break, then start spending money on advertising.
Hmm.
Well, and
Hmm.
I think a lot of people find that they don't have a brand to start with, and they think that if they buy the Google, invest in the Google ads, they're creating their brand, and that's really not the correct way. I mean, you need to create your image first,
Hmm.
and then you're putting your image out there. Just like,
Yeah.
being a DJ, do you wear shorts and flip flops, or do you wear, a nice suit with a vest or, tie? What is the image that you want to put out there? And I think it all starts with your website,
Yeah.
and your presence,
Yeah.
and taking pictures of your own events, whether you're just setting it up for friends to get started. Um, you don't need to use other people's images to promote your business. You
Yep.
should be using your own.
Yep. Absolutely. You know, I was going to show that website again, like the 349 for 2 hours. I don't know how he's making a profit or that company's making a profit. Probably because they don't have the expensive equipment and they're probably paying their workers a very low wage, and that's how they're getting by.
Or it's them, or it's them
Could be,
specifically, themselves running the
could be,
booth.
but it's in that situation where if you can handle high volume at a low price, if you're the Walmart of photo booths, then you could probably run a Google Ads campaign because most of the people out there, and this is the God honest truth, the first question out of their mouth is how much is it going to cost, right? So subconsciously they want the lowest cost as possible. There are gems out there that don't care what it costs; they want the best product possible. But those are such a small percent of the people out there. That's just the reality.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, if I could add one, maybe two things. One thing, I personally am one of those guys that when I look something up on Google, I know, and I've even taught my mom, my dad this, skip the sponsored ads at the top immediately and go right to the business listings or the real,
Mhm.
the real traffic that comes up underneath. I always, like, I tell my family to skip those sponsored posts. So do other people think like that too, or do other people just go ahead and click that first? Oh, number
Yes.
one, result one.
Yes.
A lot of people, I think, just click the first thing they see.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a there's psychology behind that. So Google search page, right? The top listing is the quickest and easiest way, according to Google, to show you the right answer to solve your problem. Um, some people, like yourself, and you taught your mom, right? So don't trust those. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong that those who advertise at the top usually um, have higher prices, right, than the ones at the bottom because they have to feed that advertising budget some way, shape, or form. In our area, it's Horizon, right, for heating and plumbing. Like they're all over the place. They're also the most expensive company, but you'll always find them at the top of the search results in sponsored ads. But then there's other people that trust them, right? So some people, everyone's different. Some people are going to like clicking on the ads. Some people are going to like clicking on the map section. Some people like to click organic. You have to have a balanced marketing portfolio, meaning like at least be in the maps, at least be in the organic, but every once in a while you may have to buy some ads. Um, it's everybody's different. Like each person has a different preference, so you have to take them all into consideration. But the further you go at the top is probably you're going to be your higher quality clients, because your higher quality clients, they want it and they want it now. They don't have time to search page after page of results. So if you
Mhm.
want those higher clients, that's where you're going to be.
Thank you. Yeah. And another thing, I guess, to change up the topic a little bit, but if we're talking about paid marketing, we should touch on, and if you either of you guys have experience, the next thing that comes after thinking about Google is Facebook ads. So what, any experience there, any insights there? Should I give that a try?
I've used Facebook ads quite a bit, and they've been, but it's just like, you know, Instagram or TikTok. You need to know how to set them up correctly
Yeah.
to really focus in on the crowd that you're trying to get.
So David, what are some
Um,
of those? What are those some of those things that you would say? And I'll get into Google Ads in a little bit. It's like I'll give like 4 things to do with Google Ads. You've done Facebook ads. What are a couple things that you could give our audience that would be to hone in on when creating a Facebook ad?
so it's what type of customer you want to go for. Are you are you doing event planners? Are you doing brides? Are you doing, business owners, things like that? So you need to have a plan for first and foremost of what you want your campaign to look like, and then do your demographics. Okay, so most brides that are getting married are between 22 and I say 35
Uh-huh.
now, right now, if because that's the younger market that they're getting out of college and looking to get married shortly thereafter. So that's kind of where I focused, and then I did engaged couples when I was promoting for weddings, or recently engaged,
Uh-huh.
and I did Philadelphia area, and then you can search, or you can set up how many miles around um, you want to kind of focus that in on. So you have to be kind of, like I said, you have to have a plan to get that together.
Yeah.
But once you do that and you run a couple, run it for a little bit, see how it goes, and then make adjustments from there.
Yeah. So being specific about those demographics,
Yep.
the location, the age group, right?
Yep.
Not just trusting Facebook. Okay, hit boost or whatever and just throw them 10, 15, 20 bucks. They already let it rip.
Right.
We get people who are like, out of the age range or out of the
Sure.
demographic that who's your
Or
audience.
or not even in your area that
Yeah.
you're looking for.
Can you give some
You
tips on the content too? I think that's also, like, aside from the targeting, right? You're putting something out there. What does that have to be? Enticing,
so
content.
you want to have an enticing photo, because that's what they're going to see. What is it that's going to attract them? Having a picture of a guest having a good time with you in that picture, so they can kind of see, okay, hey, this guy's fun. Look at the person, look at the people next to him or behind him. They're having fun too. That's what I want for my party.
Mm-hmm.
Or showing you with the bride and groom, or like an action shot where the bride and groom, and you're getting a picture of them having really good, big smile on their face, so you can tell that they're having a great time. That's what you want to use, what will connect with the person that's looking for that, or it pops up on their feed.
Mhm.
That's the key to me. Just posting up a picture of a group of a dance floor that's full means absolutely nothing. But people seeing other people having a good time subconsciously they're like, yeah, I want that. That's what I want for my party or my wedding or my, and that's when you're doing that, that's kind of what you need to, focus on.
Yep. Somebody just commented called split testing. Um, I agree with what you're saying, Dave, but I also agree with this comment that it's split testing. Um, I'm a big believer in data and letting data do the talking.
Right.
Um, what I think may be a bad photo or bad video for advertising, or what I may think be a great photo or a great video for advertising, can only be proven by data.
True.
So that's where split testing, I think, comes in. It's a great point. And you always want to start with what you identify with, right? So what I think would be a great photo, with a full dance floor. I'm not saying that I do, but you think is not. It could be the same thing out there. So I think one suggestion would be to start with what you think, right? Like you did, Dave. But then don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and try some things, some different versions all at the same time, and look at that data. Because on Facebook, you can actually run multiple ads. So you can say, I've got one photo of a dance floor that's targeting men between 22 and 27. I've got another photo of the bride in a photo booth from 22 to 27. You can run them at the same time, and then you can also run the same photo on the same age group, but females, and really find out and tweak and find out which photo is better perceived by which audience. And then once you find
Well,
that,
it comes down to, like I said, putting your plan together, and
yeah,
knowing what you're trying to market to. So obviously, if you're, a photo booth, you want to have a picture of the bride and groom. If you're pushing,
uh-huh,
hey, hire us for your photo booth for your wedding.
yep,
Obviously, a picture of the bride and groom holding signs, smiling really big in your booth, um, is something that you want. If you do glam photos, you want to kind of have a picture of the glam,
uh-huh,
that kind of stuff. So people can envision themselves when they're looking at that photo, and it catches them as to say, "Oh, wow, that's really unique." So having something different is
uh-huh.
also a key, I think.
So
But you're
maybe,
right. Running the same ad but with different photos
yeah.
kind of will help guide you with what image kind of works better for what you're doing
Yeah,
or
but
what
you've,
you're
you've
pushing.
also brought up another important point, which is that resonates with the audience. So if you've got a female between 26 or 22 and like 35, I think is what you said, then you probably want to have a couple that's in that age group, right,
Right.
in that ad, and not like grandma sitting in the photo booth with a goofy picture, because that's not. Well, maybe she loves her grandma so much, and that's why she's doing it. But
Yeah, but you know what? Having the bride and groom in there with their grandma,
it's
that's it's
oh,
it's
even
it's
better.
it's a touching photo.
Yeah.
And they and because I've had brides that their grandparent has passed away, but they were in the photo booth, and I get requests for, hey, can you resend me or print me out the pictures of my grandmother? She just passed away, and we really like to have those pictures. you know and I've actually used those types of pictures in advertising.
Uh-huh.
um and I never really matrixed it to see if it did benefit, but I mean, I did run them in ads. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about turning some Facebook ads on again pretty soon. Yeah, it's just like, but I'm waiting for in our area the seasonality that I've found a sweet spot in the Philadelphia area is usually been like at Thanksgiving through mid-January. It's almost
But
like,
the other thing, Dave, you were talking about Facebook ads,
uh-huh,
is you actually also have to look at where your demographic, what your demographic is using. I've been hearing more and more that, the younger crowds aren't really using Facebook as much anymore. They're now on, the other platforms,
right.
like TikTok and some of the other platforms.
Moving on
So
to
you've got to
right.
kind of look at the trends also of where you know where your demographic that you're going to is located.
Yeah, Instagram I think is a way, and then you can do that through Facebook, right? So
Right.
you can choose Facebook, like messaging. I don't know why that would be messaging, and then Instagram as an option. You can hit two birds with one stone, really, with that. Have you done any?
If
Right.
there was,
I was gonna say,
sorry,
have you done any Instagram, Dave, Mr. Gordon?
What's that?
I have not paid Dave. There's two Daves.
I know. I'm gonna change to David. Doing it.
There, are we both David?
Well, there's Dave and there's David. See, Dave goes as Dave
Listen.
on Facebook. You go as David.
I am okay. I'm David.
I know you too well.
So the question was for me about Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, I have not paid for any Instagram ads. I frankly believe that the money would probably be better spent on Facebook than Instagram, but they are together. Now they're, the same meta. So I believe when you're doing Facebook ads, there's just a button that says like, show these ads on Instagram. Like it's really as easy as that. And you can either allow that to happen or not. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
I was going to say that, if there was some sort of paid advertising strategy that consistently profited, let's say, like you spend this much and you get those bookings and you have those, you have those conversions, it would be a no-brainer to never stop running that ad, right? As long as that ad continues to be profitable, I guess, with the ratio of you spending the money and how many bookings are coming from it, not leads, but like we're talking money. That's what I'm looking for. I want to find whatever that pipeline is that can get the consistent profitable leads and I mean bookings, and I will pay for that because if it's profitable, I'll pay for it.
Yeah. I think everybody would. And sometimes it comes down to like how much you're willing to spend too, because if you've got a budget of $50, that's not going to go long, like on like Google Ads.
Right.
With Facebook, it might stretch out a little bit further. So let me just see here. Alicia, hi Alicia. She asked, how much do you spend on average on Facebook ads? So Dave, tell our fabulous lady from Lux Party Studio how much you spend on Facebook
depending
ads.
on the campaign, I do anywhere from $200 to $500 per month.
Per month. So 200 to 500.
Per month.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And David, how have you ever, and you said you've never done it, right?
I did some Facebook ads way back in 2017. No results from that, and I probably didn't spend much money. I think I remember spending $5 or $10 a day. Which does that equal? No, it still doesn't really equal $200 a month, does it?
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean a month. I meant a week. I apologize.
Whoa!
That was a week. Yes.
Holy cow!
Yeah. So then $5
Yes.
a day is not going to do it. So
Yeah.
and that's
So-
immediately, don't waste your money if you're not going to spend. What is that minimum number? I don't know.
When did you do
But I
it,
will-
and how fruitful was it?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Is when I did the higher spend, I found that my ROI was much higher. The problem that I had was I got a lot of people that were tire kickers that just wanted prices.
Yes.
And,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be able to talk through those. I mean, I actually was able to convert a lot of them to customers. But, it took a lot of the one I did for the 500, I turned around with around 130 leads, and I did really well on the booking from that.
That's good.
But I had my area stretched out, and I was constantly changing and updating, so it was fresh every time it would go and hit. There was something new, coming up.
So it wasn't just the same ad over and over again. You had a
No.
bunch of different things rotating out.
I lined up different ads for a few days in a row. Like they ran for like 48 hours, changed it, another 48 hours, changed it. But the message that was in the ad was consistent. It was more the images that I changed.
All right, Dave, I'm gonna try that. Both of you, I'm gonna try that in our area. I'm gonna plop down some coin, and I'm gonna take your Mr. Stevenson, your formula, and we're gonna see what happens. And David, I think you're probably gonna do the same thing because we got 1,000 sitting there ready to burn.
Exactly. I have. Well, actually, let me bring up one more paid advertising thing that I have tried. Actually, I don't have $1,000 left. I have spent $135 of that as of a few days ago on a website called bark.com.
So,
you guys heard of
Oh
no!
Oh, you might as well just you can send that money to Art and I.
I know, guys.
Have some
listen,
snake oil here if you want some.
I hear you, and I didn't blindly do this. I know your reactions, and I have been through it with Thumbtack, which is similar situation.
The same.
It's basically the same. But let me go through my initial thought process, and this is what helped me make my decision. Okay. I asked this question, do I pay for Google ads myself, or do I pay Bark, who is already paying to be at the top of Google, and pay them less?
Yeah. Well,
that was my thinking.
Well, let's take that though. Okay, so how did it turn out before I get into my rant?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a little rundown, and the reason I did do this was because they showed me all of the leads before I paid for anything, and there were legitimate leads in our area in different towns, and like multiple a day, like actual, like you look at this, and if it was an inquiry that came into my CRM, I would be like, yeah, this is good. Let me start working on this client. I paid $135 for 80 credits. They do a credit system, and each lead is typically there are 7 or 8 credits. There are a few that I saw that were double, that were 16. All of those were corporate, so I guess they think that the corporate leads are worth double. I hand selected 7.
Okay, so wait, let's
7 leads.
You spent 135, right?
And I spent 135.
80 credits.
You get 80 credits, and this is the starter pack. It's a little bit more, I believe, once you're done with your starter pack. But your starter pack is 80 credits, $135. Each credit is each lead is about 7 to 8 credits, so you're looking at like 10. I know I have 2 more because I did spend 16 on one of them. The 6, was double. I think it was a corporate.
Okay, so 13.
It's not bad.
$13.50 a lead is what you ended up paying. Okay.
Yes. All right. And basically, well, just to touch on the starter pack, they say that if you run through all your original 80 credits and you get no bookings, you email them and they'll give you 80 credits again. So if I don't get any bookings, which I have not yet, I can reach out to them and they'll give me another try.
Okay.
So if they're going to give you 80 credits and you don't get anything, and you already spent your 80 credits, that's 160 credits that you essentially didn't get anything from. So I did.
Well, did you get anything from it?
I have not gotten a booking yet. I have half of them responded. Okay, half of them actually messaged me back, texted me something. One of them for sure. One of them said someone was offering 5 hours for $400. And I said, sorry, we can't help you with that. Like, I apologize. And I gave, the typical, we strive to be the best and we have a better product and blah, blah, blah. But usually they will not bite on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of them, which is a corporate, it's like a senior center staff party. They said that last I heard, the HR lady is going to contact me. Well, we'll see. But I did all the due diligence. I even set up a Zapier command that when I pressed contact this lead in Bark, it would immediately get them into my pipeline and it starts following up with them. It sends them the brochure. It sends them the pricing. Like, I have my systems down. It's not a me thing. It's these leads.
Yeah.
They're not the best,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I wasn't expecting a Bark test. Thank you for taking a hit for the team.
Well,
David, I was really hoping you were going to say that
$135.
you booked something from there, because everybody that I've talked to, nobody has had luck with Bark.
Yeah, it's just like Thumbtack.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started
Or
out, I
gig
got a couple gigs from Thumbtack, but I was charging dirt prices, and those were the only gigs I was getting off of Thumbtack. And I think
Right.
we've seen the same thing with Bark, and unfortunately, I think Facebook is kind of the same. You have a lot of tire kickers and, people just looking for the cheapest thing, because guess what? Groupon doesn't do photo booths anymore. At least I haven't seen a photo booth on Groupon for the longest time, so they got to go somewhere. So they're going to Facebook. They're
I
going
just
to
saw a YouTube video that said Groupon. Why is Groupon dead? So we can consider that done, I would say.
But no, you brought up a great point, a way of analyzing why to try Bark is because if they're at the top of Google search and they're getting a lot of traffic, then you also see the leads that are coming in are legitimately in your area. And not only that, you get the date there. They kind of have a little bit of information. That's enticing. But I think regardless of that information, those that are successful on Bark are probably the ones that are charging $200 or $300 an event.
It's just the cheaper ones. And I looked
Wrong with
at, as if I was a customer, the companies that are coming up in our area, I don't know them. Like, they are just the not well known, not well branded companies. Like, you wouldn't know them either. And they're right in the area, and these leads are also right in the area too. So there is a sector of our business that goes to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, they hire someone, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier, though. It's like what I'm afraid of is that just it's becoming so saturated with these $1,000 or less photo booths. Nothing against iPad photo booths. They can be great if you run them correctly, but a lot of them don't know what they're doing. They don't even know how to install the iPad in the thing, and they bought these pieces of equipment and they're going out already advertising themselves. You know what I mean? But they're all over the place, and I think that's what's happening, and that's what's flooding Bark, and that's what's fueling Thumbtack, and it's just kind of sucks.
Yep.
We didn't even talk about Google Ads. We've been on for about an hour. I was telling you guys I could go on Google Ads rant for about 4 hours, but there's a couple things. Number one is do not consult with the people that are calling you from Google. For anybody out there who's running a Google Ads campaign, these so-called reps aren't actual Google reps. They are a third-party company based out of a couple places. They're based out of Toronto, the Philippines, and sometimes India. They don't know what they're doing. They're reading off of scripts. So don't let a Google rep set up your campaign. Number one, I have fixed so many accounts that have been destroyed by these Google reps that their job is to make Google money, not make you money. It's crazy. Number two, when setting up your own Google Ads campaign, never, ever, ever, ever set up a smart campaign, nor set up a performance max campaign. Those two types of campaigns, and at some point I can go deeper into this, how these are built, but those two types of campaigns are built, again, to make Google money. They target the display network, meaning that they show up on random sites. For example, if you accidentally type in the wrong URL for a website and this landing page shows up with junk on it, that's called an AdSense page, which you're now into by joining the display network, which is either mostly on Performance Max and Smart Campaigns.
Scam, spam.
Yeah,
I
and
see those.
YouTube and apps. You'll show up on YouTube channels that are like I don't know, like just like FGTV made for like little kids, or videos in foreign languages in different countries that have nothing to do with your business or your audience that would be looking for you. That shows up in both in Performance Max and Smart Campaigns. Another thing that also shows up is mobile apps. Your ads will be shown on if you're playing Wordle or if you're playing uh, Candy Crush or anything, little ads pop up. Suddenly your ad's going to be showing up on there, and you're not getting a real click. They're trying to click out of the ad, and you're getting charged for that. So there's lots of ways that Google sweep this stuff under your nose by giving you a Google rep who's going to set you up with a Performance Max campaign, which is going to throw your money out the window. So that's the second thing. The third thing is making sure you have the right locations settings, kind of like what you were talking about, Dave. If you don't put in specific locations, it's going to target the whole United States, right? So if you're in, you know, uh, West Covina, California, you don't want people from Wisconsin finding your ads and clicking on it because that's an irrelevant person. That's you're going to be throwing money out the door. And then there's keywords. So you have to make sure you have the right keywords, but also the right negative keywords. And negative keywords, what they do is they tell you what not to show for. So there was an account that I was taking over, and they were bidding on keywords like photo booth and photo booth rental, but Google was allowing other brand names of competitors to show up in his search queries, meaning that if someone typed in your competitor, like Dave, for some reason, if you're running a Google Ads campaign and didn't put my business name as a negative, someone typing Armani Entertainment might see your ad, which some people think is cool, but they were looking for me, not for you. Or
Right.
yeah, I've seen search queries or people typing in salsa photo booth, right? Or curator app, right? Or it just these brand names that people are looking for as the software, but not necessarily a photo booth rental business. So you have to mind your search queries and make sure you have a lot of negative keywords to tell Google, do not show my ad if someone's looking for salsa software or guac and chips. Like I don't have guac and
Can
chips.
can cheap be a negative keyword?
Yes, cheap can be a negative keyword, but that also could be good because you know what is cheap? You don't know what their cheap is. Their cheap might be $700,
Right.
but often it's probably the BART customer, right?
Ah.
Oh,
Dave,
but
you gotta let us know in a couple weeks. How Bark made out
I'm
for
gonna
you.
do it, Dave. I'm gonna do Bark. I'm gonna give Bark a
Okay.
try.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna match you. I'm gonna put the $135 down on the table, and I'm gonna test Bark out. But for me,
Yep.
it's difficult. I got to find dates that like I have open that I want to work. I mean, I don't do a lot of multi-op stuff. I just don't.
Yeah. Bark will only give 5 companies the lead. You will see the meter of how many companies have already clicked, and I have only reached out to companies so far, or I'm sorry, reached out to leads so far that I have been the first lead. It says be the first to respond. I don't even bother if I'm number 2. Like
Right.
it's not worth my time.
Interesting.
I only responded to the ones that were first, and sometimes within 10 minutes, I'm personally texting them, and they won't respond. And that happened with at least 2, 3 of them out of 7.
Well,
Well,
there is a thought that they have staff that are actually sending stuff through with local numbers and things like that.
could be.
So
Yeah, that would be horrendous if that's true.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Thumbtack did that, and we know Wedding Wire and the Knot did that.
That was another. Oh my gosh, the Knot and Wedding Wire. I know people spending 50 grand a year on Wedding Wire.
Hmm.
That's a whole nother
Yeah,
topic too of paid advertising.
it is. And you gotta have the business model and the right market for that. So, like for example, in our area, it's very expensive to be in the top positions, and I think your multi ops are the ones that are best suited for whether we're the not for the highest sponsorship positions. People like us who are doing not at that level and can't handle the volume doesn't justify the monthly cost for that level of advertising on whether we're not. But smaller markets,
But
hey,
if you want to get to that level, do you have to just start paying?
yeah,
What if
Yep.
I want
well,
17 DJs?
if you,
What if I want to get there? How
yeah.
do I do it? Like, this is what I'm trying to figure out tonight and every day that I'm running this business. I have an interest in doing the multi-op thing, you
Well,
know?
you have a good you have a good thing on your side, which is time. You're young, so I think you can
Mm-hmm.
afford to build it organically and with some paid on top. Just like watch your pace. Make sure that you have enough coverage
Yeah.
for the events that you're bringing in, and do them well. Like don't overexert yourself. I think it's something that I could give you advice wise. Dave, you know better than anybody else multi-opping here on this conversation. So. We do have another question. I know it's running an hour now. Um, Man, we could go on and on about paid advertising. Alicia came back and said, "Is there a way to prevent competitors with ill intentions from clicking on your ads?" There is, but I would have to charge you to tell you. No,
Wow.
no, I'm just kidding. There is a way. So there are a few companies out there that software companies. Most of them are actually based in Israel. Um, it's for some reason they're just very. There's something that they've honed in on and done really well. It's software that there's code that you put on your website that monitors the traffic coming in from Google Ads and Facebook, and I think Bing Ads as well, that monitors the IP addresses, VPNs, and bots. And you can toggle what to do about the information that it receives. So, for example, Dave, either one of you, you have an IP address at your computer, a unique number. You're both tech. You know exactly what that is. No one else has that unless you have a VPN or something that bounces. But most people have a static IP that the system can then say, hey, a click came on your Google ad from this IP address, and then another click, and then another click. You can block that IP address in Google Ads. That's another deep setting. And the software can actually do it for you. So a lot of the accounts that I run for the agency that I'm running, we have this protection on every single account. And most of the time, we have a threshold of after the very first click that someone comes from their IP address or VPN or bot, that IP address it gets blocked, and Google Ads is no longer allowed to serve that ad to that IP address. And we've seen a significant in performance and a deteriorated competitor, like just clicking on ads.
So
This
you
worked
need to
for,
pay
yeah.
you need to pay someone else. The Google does not have that feature built into its ads.
No, well, so you'd have to pay for the service to get the IP address information. You can either manually
Mm-hmm.
put those IP addresses in the settings of your Google Ads campaign, or if you pay for the service, you can have that connected to Google, and they'll automatically put those IP addresses in for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This was very successful. We ran this for a law firm, um, and one of the weird things was this is back in October 2017. I was looking at the IP addresses, and I looked up that IP address that had clicked like 32 times on my client's ad. Well, the dummy law firm put their actual law firm as the name on the IP address. So not only did we know to block that IP address, but we utilized that information against them in the court of law, went to arbitration, and won hundreds of thousands of dollars for clicking on my client's ad. And now they're in the process of being disbarred from the state that they operate in. So the software allowed us to not only stop the competitor, but also as evidence to take them to court. Crazy. So don't click on your competitor's ads because you never know who's going to take your information and take you to court. So
Crazy. And you gotta.
So listen,
all
listen,
I'm
Art,
thinking about
I'm
is.
just going to stop clicking on your ads then when
I'm
I
not
see
running
them
any
come up.
ads. So you're the one who clicked on Dave's TikTok videos.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And
Yeah.
did nothing. Gave me horrible, terrible leads with no phone numbers and wrong, undeliverable email addresses.
Yep.
That's
But
what I get.
But I think and we'll close it out here in just a minute. But I think the overarching like lesson from today is you never know what's going to happen until you test it out. Make sure that you look at all your settings before you set up anything in any advertising platform, and try to understand it. Not all of us are technically, you know, we don't have the aptitude that the two Daves here have. You guys are techies beyond belief, so you know all that stuff. But there are a lot of people that don't know, and that's why they hire agencies. And if you're going to hire an agency, you properly vet them, right? Um, and do due diligence before hiring them. But don't be afraid to advertise. Don't be afraid to try things out. Just make sure you kind of do it patiently and cautiously.
Thank you. That's a good way to end. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I wish there was the secret sauce, but I don't know if there is the exact
There
answer.
really isn't,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
you're the secret sauce. That's it.
That I can see. Yeah, that I can see.
Yeah.
Not me specifically. Not me. I'm nothing special. You as the company owner or the face of the company will say.
Yeah. Exactly. Nah, you guys are all special. So, Mr. Gordon, you have an exam tomorrow morning?
No,
No. Good
no,
for you.
no,
I thought maybe
no.
that.
I have plenty of homework to do. I'm
Okay.
still in that. Yeah, I'm grind. It is a grind this year. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what was your TikTok handle again? So if anybody wants to check out your TikToks.
Yeah, please check out my TikToks. I try a lot. I post a lot. It's DJ Dave Gordon. DJ Dave Gordon. You can see that pinned 5,000 view video, which is my fail. A girl stepped over my extension cord and shut off my whole party. So go enjoy that. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope we had some good discussion. I got a lot out of today.
So did we.
Yes. So, all right, everybody. We have Snap Pick on next week, Dave Stevenson.
Yes, we have uh, Julio from Snappick.
Julio. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Daves, have a good night and thank you so much.
Thank you, Art.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks.